Hi everybody, this is my workshop and I'm going to take 10 minutes to show you how to make one of these surgical masks just like we use in the hospitals. I wore these back in Vietnam when I was a delivery room nurse, and this is the way we did it. We washed them, we used them, we autoclaved them, we used them again. And I chose to use straps because there's no elastic to break. They can sterilize these and not have to worry about the rubber melting, and they can be used over and over again. They're triple ply, and they stretch. This is the way they work. You just put them on over your nose, over your ears, tie it with a bow. Okay, then pull your mask down under your chin. Take the bottom straps and tie another bow. You got a nice tight seal over your cheekbones, over your nose, lots of room to breathe in, and like I said, they're triple ply and you can use them over and over and over again. Okay, so it's real simple, no fancy pattern, a few numbers. I'm using a 43-inch piece of fabric. This is from Joann Fabrics. It's 100% cotton, but you could use a poly cotton blend, and let the fabric's dimensions work for you. So I folded it in half, made sure that all the edges were tight, straightened up, and then what I'm doing is I've measured off two 9 by 8-inch blocks. And you want to leave this strip intact. So I'm going to cut these blocks in half like this. I'm going to cut this over here like this. Okay, and then just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to cut this block across here. You might want to consider getting something with a pattern like I've got here that's got lines on it, and then it just makes the cutting easier. If you're using a solid color pattern, then you're going to have to work twice as hard to get your lines straight. All right, now what you've got is you've got two pieces of fabric here for the mask. If I can open it up. And the bad sides are together. Leave it just like that. And here's another one. And then as you move your fabric up and continue to cut more blocks, you're going to have a strip that goes like this that's going to be 3 inches wide. Okay? So, this is how we assemble it. You're going to take that 3-inch strip that just came off of the side of the salvage, and you're going to cut it in half. So you end up with 1.5-inch wide, 15-inch long strips. I've already got these cut. And I like to use an iron because it just makes everything so much nicer. You're going to fold it in half like this. Okay, and then you're going to open it back up, and then you're going to fold it in half on each side like this. And iron these things flat. Nothing has to be perfect. Sewing machine's going to fix all your mistakes. Okay, and then you're going to fold this in half again, and that's going to conceal all of the open edges. And you're ready to sew one strip. Okay, so now I've got my strips all pressed and ready to go. So now we're going to go over the sewing machine. Bobby's my camera person, in case you're wondering. And I use a zigzag stitch because it covers a lot of mistakes. So all I'm going to do is run each one of these through to sew up the open edges. And then you get your scissors, and you're just going to clip off this tail right here at an angle like that, so you can finish it off quickly. I'm using the widest setting for zigzag, and I'm using 12 to 14 stitches per inch. Okay, go ahead and close that off. Okay, so I've got all my strips sewn, and I'm just going to clean up the edges so that all those threads don't get in the way. And we're ready to start assembling the mask. So remember, when we cut the blocks, they're back to back. So you're going to take one back-to-back block, 2 pieces, and you're going to lay it down. Just make sure it's nice and smooth. And then you're going to take one piece from another block, and you're going to lay it good side to good side together. This is standard sewing technique. Like that. And then you're going to stitch this top edge all the way across so that all 3 pieces are put together. Now here we go. And I'm doing a straight stitch for this. Make sure everything's lined up on the top so you catch all 3 pieces. Okay. Now, you'll notice that my blocks aren't really all the same size. They're good on this side, but I'm going to need to trim this side up a little bit more just because we're moving fast here, and this isn't going to be on some runway somewhere with a beautiful model in it. Although, that would be kind of nice. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got the outside of the mask. 1 piece here, 2 pieces here. So you're going to end up with a triple thick mask. If you look at the website for filtration qualities, 3 pieces of fabric has almost the same filtration qualities as using a high quality vacuum bag, HEPA filter standard, whatever they use for those determinations. Okay, so now you're going to lay your piece back down like this, and I like to work with the not so good side, can't think of the name, out. Roll it back like this, and you're going to take 1 strip, and you're going to lay it right there, like that. And if you want to pin it, you can pin it. I don't use pins. It just takes too long. And then you're going to do the other strip right here like this. Okay, make sure it's right up into the seam, and then close it up again. Okay. And then I like to press it. That kind of keeps everything in place. Okay, we're going to put the other 2 strips when we finish the pleats. So now what you're going to do is you're going to make 3 pleats, and they don't have to be perfect. So I divide the material into 3 parts, like that, okay? And then I'm going to do 1 pleat up here like this, and it's about 3/4 of an inch thick. Iron that down. I'm going to make another pleat right here, about another 3/4 of an inch thick. Iron that down. And then your last one, about 3/4 of an inch thick. And iron that down. Okay, now if you haven't pinned your strips inside, very gently turn it over. And now you've got working with 2 thicknesses of material, and you're going to do your pleats again on this side. The first pleat, the second pleat, and the third pleat. And this time when you make the third pleat, you want to make sure that the bottoms of all three thicknesses of fabric match up, like that. There we go. Okay, now we're going back to the sewing machine. And we're going to sew the sides, locking in that first tab, that first tie strip. Okay, hold everything together. Once again, if you feel more comfortable using straight pins, you know, go ahead. It's just going to take you a little bit longer to make each mask. Okay, I'm sewing all three thicknesses and all of the pleats in order. And just before I get to the bottom here, I'm going to take my next tie, and I'm going to lay it in between the layers so that it gets sewn in to the mask. I like to do a little back stitching. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to feel up here to make sure my strip is where it's supposed to be. Make sure you're holding it all together so your pleats don't come undone. And run your machine down this side. Just before you get to the bottom, get your last tie. Put it in place so you can sew it in. Back stitch if you like. Okay, and the mask is assembled. Okay, now we're going to go back. Okay, so now we're going to finish it up. So you're going to reach inside and turn your mask inside out. You can pull the tabs. That helps to get the pleats straightened out. Okay. Smooth it out. Pull your seam straight. Okay. You see how sticking the tabs on the inside cleaned it up? And now I'm just going to fold it flat, iron it flat. Okay. Make sure that your bottom are even. This one needs to be trimmed up a little bit so that the edges are the same. For those of you that are sewers, you know what I'm doing. For those of you that are going to do this for the first time, and I just love you for giving it a try, don't worry. You make one or two of these, it's going to take a half hour, 45 minutes to get the first one done, and then the next one's going to fly. So, fold it all straight, iron it all out, and then all we're going to do is we're going to top stitch this edge, this edge, this edge, and we're going to zigzag the bottom one together. So here we go. Okay, so I'm using a straight stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to use a zigzag to close up the bottom of the mask. We're done. One surgical mask, washable, reusable, great filtration. It's going to help save somebody's life. The last thing I ask, and it makes the job so much more fun, is while you're sewing about this, think of somebody, a nurse, a doctor, a fireman, a policeman, somebody in our public service that's out there on the lines every day taking care of us, and just kind of smile because one of them's going to be wearing your mask. Take care, everybody.